not much of a prologue this week. Things have just kind of gone well and expected. Just a normal week in the champion's life, and some return to form for the Bluebirds in South Wales. So all in all, gearing up for some happier times.
I hope so.
And then your fucking chairman put a statement out. Roll the intro.
Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the Football Review Podcast, episode 16 of season 4. My name is Fennan, and joined alongside me, as you can hear crystal clearly, so clearly, if it was a points gap, it'd be 15. Mayhem, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing good. As you said that, I thought you was going to burst out into song. It sounded like that, like those brave travelling Cardiff fans that went up to the Still City. But miles well travelled, I'm sure they feel. But no, mate, I'm good. I'm good. You?
If I'm completely honest, nervous, really nervous. I mean, I know obviously before we went live. I've felt nervous since this morning. For obvious reasons. A big game of high magnitude awaits the Bluebirds this Saturday. And you know the feeling yourself, Mayhem. It's the first thing you think about when you wake up, and it's the last thing you think about when you go to sleep. And yeah, it's not a good feeling. Don't know what to expect, the fear of the unknown. And especially where Swansea got battered on the weekend, it's like they're prepping themselves for this game already. This is what they do all the time. They always go on a poor run before the big one comes up for them, and they just show up on the day, unlike we do. But we'll get onto that very, very shortly. But let's start off. Let's do it in the right order this week. The boys in green were in action not once but twice.
Indeed.
Midweek last week on home soil against Dundee United, and a comfortable 2-0 victory. Easily could have been more. But with the contribution of the Japanese duo of David Moyes and Ryo Hatate, gave you the 3 points over Dundee United. Followed up this past Saturday, in which was a somewhat chaotic game on such pristine quality of a football pitch I've ever seen. And a lot of goals, especially towards the end. And a lot of involvement from our good old friend VAR. But share your thoughts, Mayhem.
Yeah, like I said, just kind of getting back to basics and feeling pretty comfortable. The Dundee United game, the first half we were in complete control and probably could have been a few more ahead. A lot of pressure, a lot of the ball. They were sitting back, and obviously notable absentees. Nicholas Kuhn, which looks like he got injured in the warm up, and that meant that obviously Yang had to step in. And there's no doubt he's been our player of the season, and was always going to be a big miss.
Nicholas Kuhn, that is, just to clarify, not Yang.
Yeah. No, not Yang. I think he was missing, to be honest, for most of the second half. But apparently he was on the pitch. But yeah, so a lot of the ball, the midfield looked a lot more comfortable. Controlled the ball for the majority of the first half, and eventually, down, Oni Engels was looking sharp. I really thought he was going to grab a goal, a couple of shots, and some good play, some good link up. And in the end, there's I think it's Luke McCann, I think, cuts in and has a shot, and the keeper parries it back out, and Daisy Maeda runs onto it and makes it 1-0. And you wanted us to kick on from there, but Dundee United come out in the second half, and to their credit, they were a lot more front footed minded, if that is I mean, it was just a bumble of the words together, that. But anyway,
It works.
they certainly had more intention, and were being far more deliberate in their attacking phases. And it took us a little while to get to grips with that. And certainly, at 1-0, there's always some nerves in the ground. Um, especially all things considered after what had taken place, and you know we'd had the St Mirren game, but even then, I still think the derby was kind of lingering, and you just don't want to give them any fucking reason to have any kind of hope. So yeah, really important that we put our foot down and extended that gap, and made sure that we capitalise on them being utterly dog shit away from home. And thankfully, a couple of subs, and Rio comes off the bench. And again, we speed the play up, good canter, cuts the ball back. I think Paolo Bernardo's he kind of leaves it and wants to spin on it himself, but Rio Hatate just comes in, hits with his left foot, top corner. Game's dead at 2-0. And again, we've negotiated a team in real good form, Dundee United. I think they're maybe even up as high as fourth now, chasing down Aberdeen. They may have even overtaken them because Aberdeen just fallen off a cliff. But certainly, they're having a fantastic season. So important to get that done, which was good. And then we're off to Ross County, who again are in really, really good form. They've kind of, ever since Boxing Day, they've turned their season around. So Don Cowie's got them really regimented, set up really well.
That's a name from the past. Don Cowie, the boy.
And I mean, up to the higher lands where the pitch has got more divots on it than fucking Normandy Beach in the 1940s. And, you're trying to negotiate and play football on that. It just was not applicable in any shape or form. And again, I think it was a mature performance. I think, Trusty's come back into the team and he's looked accomplished. And I think Liam Scales he's been really, really good this season. But he was awful at Ibrox. They all were. Any one of them could have been dropped and not been put back into the team, to be honest. They were fucking terrible. But he's come back in since that game and he's looked really comfortable. Looking like, again, he's building up that solid partnership with Cameron Carter-Vickers, and especially when we think, obviously, with Dundee and then with Kilmarnock in the Cup, and then we're starting to look towards those European games again. It's important to have that that solid defensive line. And yeah, again, we could have scored more here. Again, Maeda was out. No Nicholas Kuhn, so we ended up playing with Yang on the left and Adamida up top, and Kyogo sort of on the right, cutting in. And yeah, I thought again in the first half we were totally dominant, had the ball, controlled it, couple of good chances. Adamida, I just think he's got to do more. But in terms of the goal, he comes short. He flicks it to Callum McGregor. Callum McGregor plays it out wide to Alistair Johnson, who whips in a fantastic ball, and Kyogo beautifully cushions it in with the side of his foot, and put us in. It felt really comfortable at that point. Kyogo probably should have got another one as well, where the Adamida tries to flick it in from across. The keeper parries it. It comes back out to him. He takes a touch, hits it. Keeper makes a good save. But it felt real comfortable. Again, the second half come. I don't think. I think both of these performances you're probably looking at 6, 7s out of 10. I mean, nothing special, but again, at this time of the season, it just doesn't matter. You just got to grind out those wins. And I think the scoreline's harsh on Ross County. I don't think they deserve to lose 4-1.
There was a late flurry of goals for sure.
Yeah, and obviously they get the penalty. No arguments with the penalty. Alistair Johnson loses his man, crashes into the back of the player. All you're praying for is it's offside. It looked very tight. We didn't get to see the lines. Maybe that's because
looking at the replays, it definitely looked
We didn't
a big claim.
we didn't get to see the lines. Maybe that's because we saw the lines in the Dundee Rangers match, and it looked like the guy in VAR was trying to draw a fucking triangle to keep the Rangers player on side. So maybe that's why we didn't. Maybe that's why we didn't see lines. But anyway, they get the penalty and dispatch it, and it's 1-1. And again, this is a team that's turning the season around. They're banging form. They've picked up some real good results, especially on the road. They hadn't won on the road for, I think, I may be exaggerating, but I don't think they'd won on the road all season till Boxing Day. And then, they've put together a couple of really good performances and, propelled himself away from St Johnstone and Hearts at the bottom of the league. So they were bang up for it. And their keeper was having a really, really good game.
He
And
was solid, man.
you just,
Flurry of fantastic saves.
you just kind of, I don't know. Sometimes when you watch that, it gets really frustrating, and sometimes, and I'm sure other people, you just kind of watch and you just kind of know that this is a place where we get it done.
Yeah.
Whether it's a Tony Ralston last minute 96th minute winner, whether it's Nicholas Kuhn cutting in and bending it, we just get it done up here. So, yeah, I wasn't worried, but obviously the time's ticking over, and they're playing those blocks, and they're at the 81st minute, and there are only 10 minutes to go, and then they step forward the magic. I thought Kyogo was fantastic, obviously being asked to play in a different position, and he pops up with a really, really good header. And again, maybe the keeper could do better with that, but I think it's maybe harsh because he's had such a good game. But yeah, it's not like it's in the corner. Kyogo gets a decent amount of power on it, but ultimately it's kind of at him, and he paws at it and doesn't quite get enough on it. But I'm fucking glad he didn't. So
No complaints.
let's not stick on it too
No,
much.
the ball comes in at some pace as well, and for Kyogo to flash across the 6 yard box as well as he did, and to get venom on that header, and for the keeper to react, it's never easy. Like, it's not quite like you said, it's not in the corner, but at the same time, it's not at him. And of course, he does get a glove to it, but
Yeah.
the power behind it just makes it unavoidable to keep out.
And then obviously we get the goal. We put our foot straight on the pedal. On a steam home here. Ball over the top. Yang tries his best to control it, and keeps it within his vicinity. And as he's running onto it, he's just taken out. I mean, how the ref doesn't give that the first time, and VAR needs to get involved. I mean, and people are saying, well, he's not going to get to the ball, but as soon as you give the one to Ross County down the other end, right? Because the Ross County player isn't fucking 8 foot, right? So the chances that he heads that ball in, slim, right? So I know Yang's shit, and the chances that he finishes that, slim. But as soon as you give the one down there where Alistair Johnson has come in the back and stopped him from having that moment, right? You have to give this one. And gets Jordan Brown, puts his leg across, gets nothing on the ball, clearly impedes Yang, goes down, stops him getting onto the ball. It's a pen. The fact the ref doesn't give it just shows how dog shit the officiating is in Scotland. It's fucking awful. And apparently it's spreading, because I managed to watch part of that Arsenal Man United game. Fucking hell. I was having to rub my eyes. So it's like, is that John Beaton? Oh no, it's not. Fucking hell. His English cousin that doesn't know how to referee. But anyway, we get there. We get the penalty. Arnie Engel steps up, confident he's going to score it, misses it. And I think probably the only thing the keeper does wrong in the whole game, God love him, is apparently he doesn't read the rule book, and he thinks he can save the penalty from the middle of the 6 yard box. VAR gets involved again, brings it back. Arnie deals with that beautifully, 3-1. And then I think their heads drop. They know that they've put so much into the game, and they've let themselves down late on. And yeah, then Luke McCowan gets another goal and puts some real gloss on the scoreline. And like I said, a team absolutely banging form. And we've gone there and got a real positive result. Now attentions will turn to Dundee, which will be again, a tricky fixture, because they're going to be very upbeat, obviously, after drawing at home to Rangers, and obviously we've got to go to Dens Park. So it's going to be a very similar formula that they're going to set up. So we've got to go there, and we've got to produce the same kind of energy and make sure that we're good with our press and we retain the possession and we're direct and we get in the right spaces and impact their goal. And then obviously we finish up the week with a cup tie against Kilmarnock and managed to draw a Premiership team out of the hat. Amazing. Where Rangers draw, I don't know, some postmans and some brickies.
Freaking.
I don't even know who the team is they've got. So yeah, it's a big week. Look, again, the most important thing now in the league is just that continuous winning machine. Make sure we go and get a positive result. Get Kilmarnock out of the way, and then, like I said, we've got young boys at home, which is a huge game in terms of whether or not we'll progress into that knockout phasey round. So we need to go and make sure we're in the best shape possible there to get over the line against young boys, and then and that's kind of us for the next little while. But yeah, Dens Park is going to be a tough game. They're going to be right up for it, and they know that if they're regimented and they defend like they did the other night, then they give themselves a decent chance of getting another positive result. So I'm sure Brendan will have the boys right up for it, as long as he's not fucking going the whole shit about gurning at the fans for singing Kieran to right, Brendan. Let's put that in the bin, right? None of that no more of that, right? You're back in our good books. Don't start fucking it up again. Right?
Don't do it.
So yeah, look, but he's been here so many times before, that he just knows that it's so important now to keep this winning cycle going. Whether he shuffles the pack, I'd like to see Luke McCowan come back in. Dens Park, somewhere he knows very, very well, and I think he'll be really motivated, as he always is, to be honest, when he comes on. I always think he looks born to wear a Celtic jersey, really classy and clinical with his passing and his movement and off the ball. So I'd like to see him come back in. And I don't know how bad the injuries are, to be honest, to Nicholas Kuhn and Maeda, but hopefully we can get them back for the European game and navigate the next two fixtures pretty comfortably. But it'll be a tough game up at Dens Park, certainly.
100%, and it's been evident this season now how Celtic can just turn it on, and when they do turn it on and take their chances, they could be ruthless. And it feels now that after the past two results, any sense of a hangover from the defeat at Ibrox is worn off now, and like you said, Brendan will get them going. They will get them riled up for what is to be a big month ahead. He even came out after the game and said that he's not going to sit still in this transfer window, and of course, the ongoing speculation with Kieran Tierney is ongoing, but with Celtic at the moment, it's been down to...
Actually watching that Arsenal Man United game through my fingers when he got subbed on, I was like, for the love of fuck, do not get injured. I think hopefully that'll progress over the next week or so, and we'll get the I think it'll be a pre-contract that'll be announced, and hopefully we can get him on loan till the end of the season.
Yeah.
And then there's whispers about a potential winger, which is obviously an area that we've said that we need. I think it was about 7 million. It was quoted for a Norwegian winger.
I saw that as well from Sarpsborg or someone like that.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what's out there. Lewis Palmer looks like he's set to leave. Amazingly going to a La Liga team. Fair play. And as you updated me, top fan over here, as you updated me before we went live, Stephen Welsh has gone out on loan to Belgium. So I think we'll probably see Lager Bielka go. The fact that we have Trusty, Carter Vickers, Scales, Narowski, if we got in a real bad pinch, I think, Lager Bielka was close to leaving in the summer. I think he'll be allowed to leave now that we're in the position we're in. And then, it's just about, and like I said, I don't think anyone big will leave in January, especially because with these 2 European games, the away game at Villa at the end of the month, big important games to try and maximise as many points as we can to make sure we get into that playoff round. So I think we'll only really be strengthening and then kicking on to finish out the domestic season. So I think KT will get done. Chances are we'll get him on a pre-contract, and then the loan will be later in the month. And hopefully the winger isn't. I haven't seen anything concrete as nailed on as it's going to happen pretty soon. Just kind of early negotiations, I think. So whether or not we've met the valuation or they want more or whatever. So look, ultimately we're putting ourselves in a position to get stronger, which is again positive as we kick on. And we're just kind of ticking off the games now, ticking down the results, making sure we take care of things domestically, and soon enough we'll be a May lifting the league title. So
could be sooner than May at this rate.
Well,
but of course, can't get too ahead of ourselves too soon.
No, and sure, enjoy the lap of honour that'll be the next 4 months, and enjoy big Phil giving us all the excuses in the world about how he's got injured players and everything else. So look, next 4 months look interesting. Like I said, we just got to take care of things domestically and obviously in the Scottish Cup as well. Make sure that we get the job done against Kilmarnock, and we're eyeing up another treble, which will be glorious.
100%. It always is. It's always glorious to witness. What were your thoughts on? Of course, some Rangers fans were heavily dissatisfied with Phil Clement getting the reassurances that he is going to stay on as Rangers coach. I mean, do you feel obviously the frustration of them being so far behind? Is it the case of that? What his philosophy is brought to Rangers is not working, or is it? From me, it just seems like they've inherited so much dead wood from previous managers, and the turnover has been massive for Rangers in the last few years.
I'm happy they're keeping him, which I think tells you.
Of course.
I think it tells you a lot about the level that he's got at Rangers. I think not to talk too much on them. I think one of their real problems is their best player, Cherney this season.
Mm-hmm.
He's only on loan. Right? That's not going to be made permanent, so he goes back in the summer. Right? And then all you've got is that Igamane that's
who'll most likely get pinched in the summer.
That's hit a purple patch, and does someone again take a punt on him, and if that does happen, then you're back to relying on serial Dessers. I think that's the way the recruitment has been for us. It's been phenomenal in terms of seeing the level of player that they're bringing in. Superb, fantastic, we love it.
Saw that he was linked the other day, Cyril Dessers, to some pretty decent clubs. And by all means, I'm thinking you're definitely not going to be first choice.
Well, it's kind of the Rangers thing, isn't it? That their players get linked to crazy clubs, and then they end up in the Mexican League overweight, Morelos, or they end up in Turkey not playing a game, Ryan Kent.
Oh my word! I almost forgot about him.
Yeah, so I mean, the protest was funny as fuck because out went the Onion Bears on their 55th minute, and they were getting booed by their own fans. So the ultras that travel up and down each and every game are getting booed out of their own stadium. And to be honest, if St Johnstone weren't utterly dog shit, I think there was probably something in that game for them, but they started the game horrifically. They were 3 down by half time. They scored just as they got one back just as the protest was starting, and Rangers were awful in the second half. But Sir Johnson are just that shit. They couldn't do anything about it. So yeah, I honestly cannot believe that they've stuck with him. But more power to you. Fair play to you. I mean, you're 15 points behind in January. I mean, for that to be acceptable shows you that the standards at that football club have dropped. Shows you that honestly, they were reborn in 2012 and they're ahead of the fucking project because they won a wee COVID title, and they're happy with just being a wee cup tick. They are the Borussia Dortmund of Scotland. Absolutely happy to be second, win a wee cup, and once in every 5-6 years man a title challenge, and maybe they win it or maybe they fall away. But yeah, they get a positive result, and they'll be living off that for the rest of the season. They stopped us going unbeaten in the league. That's ultimately what their season's going to culminate in, potentially a Scottish Cup final if they get all the home draws, because they're utterly shite away from home. So yeah, it's bleak for them, but it's fantastic viewing. Great viewing. I mean, Ronnie Dyler's being a hero as well. He's hired Kenny Miller as part of his backroom staff at Atlanta, so we don't have to listen to that utter FUD on TV. So we got rid of him. Philip Clement is giving out some of the best post-match press conferences going. But it's like car crash TV. You want to look away, but you just can't. You need to know what this absolute fucking clan is going to blame this week. It's superb. So yeah, utterly amazed that they've stuck with him, to be honest. To be 15 points behind, I mean, going into that St Johnstone game 18 points behind is it's laughable. I mean, it sort of, you veer back to them wearing fucking loaves of breads on their head and singing about Mark Warburton. That's the kind of gap that's in place at the moment. So yeah, like I said, long may it fucking continue.
Long may it continue.
Let them suffer. Fuck them.
That's that. Well, why don't we transition over? Why don't we head down south?
Not that far down south, just to Sheffield.
Just to Sheffield. Oh, well, in terms of, if we're being literal, of course, yeah. No, positive week, I must say.
Top viewing at Bramall Lane. I actually watched the game. Had to fucking change my location about 27 times on the iPlayer, but eventually it popped up.
Same here.
There was Joe Ledley, big letters, great guy.
Love that man.
And Rob Page. Now that is a name. Now it might be
that
controversial.
rung alarm bells when I heard Rob Page. I went, no, please, no, sorry, no, I can't.
Was he there? Was he there scouting? Was he there seeing?
I was just worried that something was in the pipeline.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
was he there looking at a team he could potentially be managing in 6 months? I think the whole spectacle was utterly shambolic. There was only 6,000 fans in the ground. It was Baltic. There was a lot of kids on display for Sheffield United and for Cardiff. And, I thought Cardiff dealt with it far better, especially in the first half. Especially the youngster, was Ashburn?
Oh, Kean Ashford, mate.
Ashford, yeah.
Kean Ashford.
In the first half, I thought he was terrific. But let's hear you break it down. Obviously, like you said, in the fourth round, an absolute glamour tie now with Stoke City awaiting you. But yeah, run us through it.
Yeah, no, we'll get onto that fourth round draw very shortly, and it's very disappointing. But no, I was ultimately more than anything surprised. In recent years we've had some glamorous ties where we've in recent times had Leeds at home, but then prior to that was Man City when we were in that promotion championship season under Neil Warnock. And so no, it was like I said, it was a surprising result. A lineup that consisted of obviously the kids, a few players on the fringes, and the likes of Will Fish and Joel Bagan starting in the side.
Joe Rails coming back into the team.
Joe Rolls and
400th appearance.
400th appearance, 13 seasons at the club. My captain, my skipper, and that guy needs to be on the team sheet come Saturday. As long as he doesn't pick up anything tomorrow night if he features against Watford. But massive result. Good to see Keon Atete back in the lineup as well. I think he's someone who I feel possesses more ability than Kanga and Mate combined.
Which is saying a lot because Ruben Caldwell backhills it to him 7 yards out and he manages to miss the fucking target.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know where Kean Ashford is deployed or what he doesn't look like he has the profile of a striker. I don't know, he might be a striker. He looked more like a winger to me. But you're just screaming for a number 9.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, I'll get onto that in a moment. But no, he misses a big chance early on. Again, Ashford does a fantastic flick over the centre half, drives through, ball's played the goal, plays a nice little back heel, and Atete just completely scuffs his finish, completely scuffs it. And
I think it's a better chance for Kean Atete if Caldwell stays the fuck out of it.
Yeah,
I don't think the ball is meant for Caldwell, but ultimately, the ball's backheel to you. You're 7 yards out.
Yeah.
You've got to hit the target.
Yeah, and we could sit here and use the excuse of Atete's been out for the last few months, but no, at that level and on the wage packet he's on, like there's no excuses for that. And I mean, he only played the 45 minutes. Again, just the utilising the youngsters. So Luke Pearce got on as well for his first senior appearance for the club. We had the likes of Ronan Capacchio playing. We had Tom Davis come on as well for Capacchio at half time. So it was nice to see some of the kids get some game time at senior level. And look, each to their own. I thought they put in a fantastic shift. Again, I know obviously Sheffield United had a massive makeshift team themselves, but to go to Bramall Lane against a side who are absolutely flying in the Championship at the moment, you would have backed them on paper to absolutely paste us and take us apart, and that wasn't the case. Very hard fought victory, and good to see some of these players make a good impression and put themselves in contention for the game on Saturday, the big one, and of course, big one being Kean Ashford, and he's definitely an individual who would be the first name on the team sheet come Saturday. Came on against Oxford on Boxing Day. I thought he was a much needed outlet, being able to cut inside from the right side and fire in a consolation goal. Again, gets on the score sheet at Bramall Lane. I think he's honestly, I back him at this point in time. I back him to be a bigger prospect than Ruben Caldwell right now, because Caldwell's
his goal very well.
Yeah, 100%.
Broke through, seemed calm, cool, collected, just slotted it. Great finish.
Yeah, and with Ashford at the moment, we're seeing a pattern of consistency from him, which is something that we've wanted from Caldwell for the last 2-3 seasons, and we just haven't got that. Ashford has been given his opportunity, and he took it last season when he comes on and produces a good performance against Birmingham, who were then a Championship side, scores a late winner against Southampton, the side that managed under Russell Martin once upon a time. But yeah, I think he is an unbelievable talent, and I think we've got something special with Kean Ashford. Long may it continue. I may be speaking too soon on that matter, but yeah, no, he's been a shining spot in our side at the moment. And of course, we have our a game that was postponed back in mid-December.
Just going back to the Sheffield United game, just want to
Yeah.
quickly mention, when did it become legal that goalkeepers can just elbow people in the face in the box? What the fuck was that about?
I'm amazed that nothing was given with that. Absolutely
Just
amazed.
just throws an arm. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was utterly bamboozled. Looks like something from a fucking 90s wrestling fucking show rather than an FA Cup game, and gets away with it. I don't know if he has certain. Obviously, apparently he's an under 21, or is he a senior Welsh goalkeeper? So does he have allegiances elsewhere? I don't know. But
No, no,
seemed
he's
really,
senior. Yeah,
seemed
Adam
really,
Davis.
seemed really
Yeah,
pissed off. He was getting beat by Cardiff.
first name on the bench for Wales. Every international break, first one on the bench.
But yeah,
Yeah, no,
um,
completely bemused by that decision, but doesn't change the outcome, and the outcome is we're in the hat, fourth round. It's very rare to come by nowadays for the Bluebirds, and we got a very exciting tie, and yeah, a rainy weekend in Stoke.
such a damp squid of a draw, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, like we went through the entire draw of the fourth round, and one, maybe two, we went, that's all right. The rest of them dead, absolutely dead, no excitement at all.
Yeah, it was a shit draw.
You know, and so no, tomorrow we've just got to put ourselves in a good place, gain some more momentum from last Thursday, bring it into tomorrow night against Watford, and then fingers crossed we can just go out there and produce a performance that I'm highly expecting of Swansea. And they haven't been on a good run as of late, the Jacks, but that's always been the case in recent times. They've always had a bad run in going into these derbies, and by all means we can't take that lightly at all. We got to focus on ourselves, and we got to show up and from the first whistle be on them. And if
Yeah,
we got Robbo back for that game as well, which is huge because he is, him and Ashford are two individuals who I can back getting on the score sheet. And so, yeah, no, Rulesy, who's come into the side, coming back from injury as well, putting a strong shift against Coventry when he came off the bench, and then since then he's just, and again he's a folk hero for us. 400 appearances, 13 seasons. Yeah, it just goes to show how fortunate we are. We've had such a great player on our books for so long, and managed to retain him as well. Fighting off interest in the past from a Premier League side in Fulham once upon a time, and other big teams that have gone up from the Championship. And so, yeah, don't feel confident. Must
Ollie
say,
Tanner on the bench.
Ollie Tanner on the bench,
You've you've got to back him.
and
And
we'll.
I'm going to have a V5 on him to
You've got
score.
to do it. You got to do it. You know what? If it doesn't come in, I'll pay you that fiver back. I swear to God.
I'm not gonna back. I'm tempted, right, to sacrifice a fiver, right? Because I've told you before, right? We know what happens when I back a team, right? The other team wins. I'm tempted to back Swansea to win and Ollie Tanner to score, so that we know that Swansea definitely won't fucking win.
Yeah.
And that I don't know if the scut applies to the players. Does that mean that Tanner won't? But no, he's a derby specialist, and this is where he pops up. Whether it's that utter excuse of a football team in Bristol, or whether it's the South Wales derby, he has an impact. I think he'll have a part to play from the bench. Maybe that's me being nostalgic and remembering, obviously, the game last season. Um, but obviously, he had a big hand in Robbo's goal up at the Libby as well.
He
So
did. He did.
um,
If he doesn't put the ball in the back of Swansea's net, he'll let someone else do it for him.
it was a draw up there, wasn't it?
1-1. It was 1-1 in the reverse fixture.
Yeah, so a chance to have a really finish off that fixture with a positive result and take 4 points from them, which I'm I'm guessing you'd have been absolutely delighted with at the start of the season.
Oh yeah, snap your arm off, 100%. And according to Luke Williams as well, he's come out and announced that Ben Cabanjo and Harry Darling are both doubts for Saturday's game as well. Knowing them, I wouldn't be surprised if they are on the team sheet as well, because look, they understand the magnitude of this game, even though they're on the other side. They're two players who, give us a tough time, and I fucking hate the pair of them.
Oh, look, we've seen Swansea enough to know that their figurehead, the person that controls their tempo, is Grimes. And thinking back to the derby at the Cardiff City Stadium last season, Cardiff did ever so well to get in and around him and stop him dictating. So that's got to be part of the blueprint, to get people in that midfield with legs that are going to be robust and are going to battle in that midfield. And then obviously that allows whoever he plays in the front three to go and have a positive impact.
If I'm completely honest, I wouldn't even start Ruben on Saturday. I really wouldn't. I'll go Rossi, Siopis, and then Robertson just in front of him to allow a bit more creativity. Of course, Ruben Colwell's got more of a physical factor about him, but then going forward, Ashford, Chris Willock, and Robbo, and bring Ruben and Ollie on, on the hour mark, just to. And again, Ruben Colwell's another individual as well. When in the past, when he's come off the bench, he's had a better performance, and where he's been starting a lot as of late, he hasn't quite got going in recent games, and so I don't know. There'll be a lot of names in consideration, and a lot of I think a decision will be more than likely made after what goes ahead against Watford tomorrow night. But look, I just want a performance. That's all I want. I'd even take a point at this point, but no, especially taking into consider our position in the table, we need to pick up as many points as we can. And then in terms of the transfer window, this leads on to another statement released, but this time from the board. More specifically, Mehmet Dalman. And when I read through it, I'm not going to read through it on this podcast. I feel like I've just that's all I've done is read open letters and responses and in the last few episodes. And so
we've basically become the Cardiff City Board's novel.
Do you know what I mean?
Just reading out.
Maybe they should give me a job as a fucking spokesperson for them.
Just reading out fictional bullshit.
Yeah.
But give me the key points from what I'm sure is a factual statement.
Well, if we go back to the original open letter, we were talking about, what's the plan in January? Is Omer Riza the long-term plan in terms of the management situation? In terms of the board, the hierarchy. We need a director of football. We want some more football affiliated personnel that can be beneficial to us when it comes to running day-to-day operations at the club. And no, reading Mehmet Dalman's letter, it felt like obligatory for him to put out. Like, it felt like he needed to put it out, and all he did was say, yes, there'll be better transparency and communication between fans and the board. Yes, we're going to be active in this transfer window. We back Omer Riza, and we're going to be looking, explore all options possible, and from permanent to loan signings. Of course, outgoings will play a part as well, and so any players who are on the fringes and not getting a look in. Young players in terms of loan moves to help enhance their development. Most notably, Joel Colwell, Ruben's younger brother, who's had a good 6 months on loan at Cheltenham in League Two. He was recalled, and then he was loaned out to League One side Exeter City, and so seems like a good move in the right direction for him. And fingers crossed he has a successful loan spell there, but good club to move to. Obviously, we saw them knock out Championship side Oxford over the weekend, and so hopefully he can be, he could be a good addition to that Exeter team and go into the summer and give us a big decision in terms of where we go next with him. But no, yeah, he just basically said, yeah, we'll do this, yeah, we'll do that. We're still in discussion with Vincent Tan regarding the director of football position, whether he's open to it or not. That is yet to be decided. And yes, of course, we want some more football-minded individuals on the board, and we continue to work with Vincent regarding this matter. And yeah, it was very robotic, and like I said, it felt like he had to put it out. It was like, if I put this out like in the new year, like, I'm going to be back in the good books of the fans. And like I said, I mean, we've fallen for it once, we've fallen for it twice, we've fallen for it too many times in the past. And it's it just, my thoughts on it, I'll believe it when I see it. They've got to demonstrate that now, and just see where we go in, the next few months going ahead. A big thing as well that is a prime focus for them at the moment is improving the facilities of the academy, and so see where that leads to. Of course, like the infrastructure around it looks really nice based on what I've seen, and so hopefully that can, increase the pool that we have around the country, and bring in a few more, better intakes really. And yeah, but like I said, I believe it when I see it.
Yeah, it just kind of feels like empty words.
It is, yeah.
I mean, like,
it's almost like a child asked by their parents to go clean their room, and they're gone, yeah, I'll do it later, and it never gets done.
I don't foresee them doing any permanent deals. I don't know. I just don't see that. I think they're going to be. I think they probably will be active, but it'll be in that loan market again. And again, that's just patching over the problems. It isn't fixing them whatsoever. But look, let's hope I'm wrong. Let's hope they go out and they do some good business. I don't know if you've been linked with anyone. I haven't seen much.
Yeah, according to reports, we had a £1.5 million bid rejected by Peterborough for Ricky J. Jones.
Okay.
I mean, I'm more familiar with him on Football Manager, and of course, Lelujo is a bit of a big fan of his, and so I'm pretty sure he'll be happy as a Posh fan to know that our bid was rejected and turned down, and we were linked again with another midfielder from Posh as well. But again, it's purely paper talk at the moment, nothing set in stone. It's only, like I said, it's only been outgoings for youngsters going on loan elsewhere, and no, there's again speculation about Kangas having his loan cut short as well, which I'd be more than happy to see happen. Yeah, it'd be another piece of deadwood off the books. Frees up the wages a bit. But no, according to Mehmet, like we are active in this window. We're exploring all options possible, but with it being the January transfer window, it's always difficult to do business, especially when it comes to permanent transfers. And so I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being 2 loan signings, and if they are going to be 2 loan signings, just bring in someone who can fucking run fast. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, we need pace going forward so much, because there is none of that. None of that at all. Isaac Davis is just forever injured at the moment.
Usain Bolt, you available?
No, I accept him as well. I watch him in the A-League, mate. Fucking shit, cunt.
Yeah, I think Cardiff at the moment are in such a dogfight that every game feels so important when you get into this stage of the season and you're in the position that you're in. So I think the window's massive to try and get in a little bit of talent, but because I think it'll probably lean more towards that loan deal, then I would imagine most of that business is going to be done late on in January when
Yeah,
people understand what their future is and they're not going to play and so on and so forth. So, but yeah, hopefully you can like you said, get someone in with a bit of prowess about a bit of aura, and it can give you that clinical edge that you've been
yeah,
lacking.
yeah. A striker and pace, like they have got to be our priorities. Striker who can find the back of the net, and a winger who can do the 100-meter sprint in under 15 seconds would be ideal.
Well,
So no, we'll see what happens. Again, it's obviously early days. I say that, I mean, fucking hell, it's the 13th of Jan already.
yeah,
Already like approaching
nearly,
that second week in
nearly,
this window.
nearly halfway. But like you said, you mentioned obviously the fourth round um, in it, and we had some a couple of eventful games in round three. Did you see any of the FA Cup action? I love the third round. I think most people do. I think it's the best round of the FA Cup. Did you catch anything that happened?
Bar the Cardiff game, I caught again. Like, I know I'm sat in the pub. This pub had the Exeter Oxford game on from afar. The one TV in the pub in the far corner, yeah, she was showing the Exeter Oxford game, and yeah, great result for Exeter, and yeah, they move on, and I think they haven't. I mean, they got an okayish draw, wasn't it? Like Preston or who else? No, it was Forest. They got
Yeah, Forest.
Forest.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a good tie, I thought. And then
yeah,
another notable one was probably Liverpool Plymouth Argyle in the
yeah.
next round. Yeah, big game for the Green Army.
Plymouth obviously winning away at Brentford,
Hmm.
which was a big result.
Yeah,
Um, Whitaker with a decent goal that sent the travelling fans into raptures. Yeah, so great result for them. Like you said, they've been awarded um, a home tie against Liverpool, which I'm sure they'll be absolutely buzzing about. Um, Tamworth, did you see any of that? Them taking Tottenham to extra time?
I saw. You know what? I saw the 5 minutes of added time and how agonisingly close they came to finding a winner, Tamworth, and then yeah, I think they just capitulated. Tottenham get 1-2, and then Brennan Johnson finishes them off. A lot of funny footage from that game, I must say, pre-game and post-game. Archie Gray giving his boot to to a Tamworth fan. He's like, "Do I get to keep it? Do I get to keep it?" giving them, absolute abuse coming into the ground as well. Um, I like those sorts of games. Like, it feels very
Yeah,
wholesome.
yeah. I think people it's overused a lot, the magic of the FA Cup, but it really is. I did feel bad for them because this time last year, you know, their performance would have earned them a trip to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah,
That's gone, and I think in extra time, the Premier League or the professional club is always going to have such an advantage. Those guys only train 2 days a week. I
exactly.
mean, the,
Yeah.
the fitness is going to kick in. But yeah, I thought it made for good, like you said, wholesome viewing. That pitch was fucking awful though. That AstroTurf shite.
Gave Ross County a run for their money, yeah, that's for sure.
Uh, Now Ross County, they've got a normal pitch.
All
Don't they?
right, it was just, yeah, just
Just looks like a fucking war
poorly
zone.
looked after.
I mean, anyway,
Yeah.
obviously the big tie around Arsenal United. Did you see any of that?
I didn't catch it. No, I sort of, social media was, there was a big outpour in terms of United knocking Arsenal out, and then you see old league judges on AFTV having a nice little, going on a little tangent about how they need to back Arteta more and whatnot. And yeah, no, but I know it went to penalties. Xerxes scores the winning penalty and sends them through. But I heard there was some controversy regarding a penalty incident.
Oh, it was never a penalty.
No,
Never in a million years. The ref, Madley, I think,
wouldn't surprise me.
utter dog shit.
Fucking slugneck. Yeah.
Like, incredibly bad. Um, and yeah, it culminates with him. Just to clarify, Diego Dalot, 100% both of those are yellow cards. That's about the one thing he got right on the day. But yeah, the penalty. But even when it started with like Bruno Fernandes is fouled on the edge of the box by Jesus, he doesn't give it, and Jesus ultimately ends up injuring himself and has to be stretchered off from that. But yeah, it was the first half was shite, and the second half was a real cup tie, and it really come out, and it turned into a good game. And like you said, Arsenal missed a penalty. The Man United goalkeeper, man of the match, and thoroughly deserved it, and then goes on to save on in the shootout as well, and then like you said, Xerxes sends them through. So yeah, good result for them. I think that's kind of what United do at the moment, isn't it? They're good at that soak up, counter attack
Yeah.
kind of mentality, but they've got some games coming up where I think the fans are going to be far more demanding for them to go on the front foot, and then we'll see what they're about. But yeah, it was a decent game, and
Yeah, it's
generally,
always hit and miss with those FA Cup ties when it comes to two big Premier League sides going head to head. Like like you said, you want to see a proper cup tie sort of game, and I don't know, like you said, it's always hit and miss, and it seems like we had a bit of both, with that first half being as drab as you fear at first, but then grew into something that was a bit of a spectacle, and yeah, definitely made for post-match entertainment as well.
talking about spectacle, Bromley taking the lead at Newcastle.
Oh, and what a goal as well.
Yeah,
Just love the Bromley fans who are up in the gods.
yeah. See,
Couldn't hear them.
I see a video recorded from the away end. Looks like it was being recorded from the moon, but they were in absolute raptures. Fair play to them.
Yeah,
Great scenes, and then
yeah.
obviously
Great
Newcastle,
weekend as well. Yeah.
yeah, great. Newcastle click into gear and get the job done, and they're away at Birmingham. But let's be honest, we all wanted Birmingham Villa. That would have been the tie of the fourth
I
round.
know.
But yeah, that set up quite nicely. Obviously, Birmingham going really strong in League One, and Newcastle having to go to St Andrews you would imagine it'd be a full house, and um, that should make for a good game. But yeah, the fourth round is awful.
Yeah. No. It was very very underwhelming seeing the teams
So many
drawn.
Prem teams that drawing each other.
Yeah, same with the
Like,
Championship sides as well, just drawing
yeah,
against each other. What was it? Leeds, Millwall, Stoke, Cardiff, obviously. Like it's like no, we'll see that next week. Cool.
yeah.
Give us something exciting. Like why don't they actually? They should do some sort of like seeding system. I don't know how that will work in the FA Cup, but
Yeah, they do to a degree, don't they? Obviously, they do the third round, but I know what you mean. They yeah, maybe draw the Prem teams from one hat and to make it a bit more of a spectacle. But yeah, it's Man United, Leicester, Brighton, Chelsea,
yeah,
um,
boring, boring, boring.
Everton, Bournemouth, Villa,
Yep,
Tottenham.
yep.
Yeah. And like you said, Stoke, Cardiff. And, well, there's Coventry, Ipswich, Blackburn, Wolves, but
Blackburn Wolves might be a bit tasty.
mm,
Might be. Who knows? Who knows?
Not me. Yeah, round seems a bit dead, but
No.
overall third round was pretty enjoyable. Obviously, it's the main standouts. I think have to be Plymouth getting a result at
Yeah, that was easily the biggest upset.
Premier League Brentford, which was good to see.
Yeah.
Um, we'll pivot then, and I guess we'll finish up. Couple of new managers coming in.
Yeah.
Graham Potter, after he said no to pretty much everybody in the English pyramid, decides to take up a job at West Ham.
Yeah.
What do you think? Good
And
appointment?
well, I don't know whether to feel sorry for him or not because it did feel like he was holding out for that England job for so long. Like he'd been out of the job for a long time.
2 years, I think,
2 years now.
since he left
That's a
Chelsea.
long stint. Lopetegui, honestly, I mean, it was inevitable that he was going to get the boot. I remember saying at the start of the season when they hired him, I said he'll be gone by Christmas. At the very least, he'll be gone by then because I just do not rate him as a manager. Full stop. Really don't. Couldn't cut it in the Portuguese league where he came second best with Porto to Benfica. Went to Spain, underwhelming international campaigns. Goes to Wolves, underwhelming again, and goes to West Ham, and he's just a shit manager. Really, utter dog wank manager he is. Graham Potter coming in. It'd be interesting to see how he does. Of course, he's been out of the job for a long time now, and he's got a tough job on his hands because I'm pretty sure Lopetegui's left him in some fucking shit there. But they still have some good players amongst the squad. I know they've lost Jared Bowen to injury, and he's out until at least February from what I've seen, what I've read. But I think it's all about just getting West Ham back to their best, getting the best out of Paqueta again, other players
Kudos.
around. Yeah, kudos 100%, and just solidifying their safety in the Premier League. Otherwise, they
Yes,
may get dragged into that little.
Somerville looked good until he had to come off injured. He looked good against
I
Villa in the
completely
first half.
forgot he played for them.
No. I think Lopetegui did as well, to be honest. But he looked pretty sharp, and then I think he come off. I'm not sure the injury was, but he definitely had to come off, and they lost a lot from that. And controversially, the corner shouldn't have been a corner and all that, blah blah blah. But Villa get the job done. And then Moyes back to Everton.
The return of a legend. Return of a toffee legend. Well, again, another individual who has been out of the job for a while. And when he was last at Everton, I think he was more familiar in finishing in the top half of the Premier League, if not mid-table. But we see Everton now in a relegation scrap near enough.
Well, he got him Champions League, didn't he? 1 year.
He did, and courtesy of Liverpool winning the Champions League that season, that was the only reason why they got into it. We had to go through a few more qualifying rounds than Everton did, and Everton fell at the first hurdle at Villarreal, if I remember correctly. Huge job he's got, massive job.
Yeah, he hasn't afforded the same luxuries as Potter either because their squad is weak.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Looking at that squad on paper, and you'd expect certain names to, bag a result for you. Like your Dwight McNeil, your Calvert-Lewin, but
Calvert-Lewin.
Calvert-Lewin, like I mean,
He is the most overrated player I have ever seen.
he's just a fucking shit Callum Wilson at this rate.
He's
If he doesn't play, he's just injured.
he's always injured.
Yeah.
But they obviously got through as well, beating Peterborough, so they're into the next round. Yeah, I think it's a monumental job that he has with Everton, and God knows what's going to happen with any potential problems with financial fair play as well. That's kind of still lingering. Harsh on Dyche, do you think? Harsh
A
or
little
not
bit.
harsh?
A little bit.
I know that the Everton fans were, they'd got sick and tired of Dyche football. But yeah, I think it's a bit harsh as well. And like I guess that comes from not watching every game and not being dragged down by that type of football and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. But I mean, when he goes in there, you can't, you know what you're getting with him. So I don't know quite why they're surprised that they weren't playing, Guardiola football. Um,
Yeah, I mean, like you said, obviously we're not, we're obviously not big followers of Everton, but I mean, if I was, sat here speaking to an Everton fan, you'd be asking him, well, what did you expect?
yeah, and I guess what they would maybe say is mid-table,
Yeah,
security, and that hasn't come to fruition. And I guess
yeah,
I
but he was
wonder.
never going to take them up a level. He wasn't going to elevate them back to when Moyes was in charge last.
No, and I think the one thing that Moyes will be going into is, a team that is set up really well and regimented really well and can defend. So
Yeah,
what he needs to do is, sort out the front end. And I wonder if he'll keep the likes of Seamus Coleman and Leighton Baines. Obviously knows them really well.
yeah.
He probably trusts them. Keep them around. And I guess we finish on City Salford. That was not so much the result because that was a fucking
Manchester
battering.
Derby.
Um, but I didn't realise that Ryan Giggs was at Salford. When the fuck did this happen?
As manager,
No, he's not there as manager.
I was
He's
going
in
to
the
say, I
he's
guess he's within that little group of the class of '95.
Prison FC. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, he just popped up. Obviously turned it on. Thought Salford are going really well in League Two. City are kind of finding their way back to form. But it's the first time they'd ever played, which was good. Obviously, the Salford and Manchester being so close together. Yeah, it wasn't much of a game. It was more of a rugby match, to be honest. It was fucking brutal.
fucking
But
cricket score, mate.
Ryan Giggs appearing, the fuck is going on here?
Well, I'd like to have seen how he managed to get into the stadium without getting his head kicked in. That's for sure. And fucking hell, Mason Greenwood had the fuck off the France.
Oh, well, that might just have been the shock of the third round.
Yeah,
Ryan Giggs
Man
appears.
City scoring 8.
The lights go out at the Etihad, the dongs go on, and Ryan Giggs appears on the pitch.
Oh my god. Good God Almighty! Good God Almighty! Yeah.
But yeah, like I said at the start, overall, I think it's been. We're both sitting here with positive weeks, big weeks ahead.
Yeah,
Both in action
could
tomorrow.
drastically change by next Monday.
Yeah, big games, big games tomorrow. Used to keep for both of us to keep the momentum going, and then obviously with the Scottish Cup on the weekend, and you have the big one. I've said this about 3 times, but do you want to finish on a prediction? Do you want to give me?
I'm going to politely pass on that because my darling Maria always does it. And every time I've given her a prediction, it's gone to shit.
Well, I'm going to give you a prediction. I'm going to say 2-1 Cardiff,
Swansea to take the lead.
and I'm going to say a goal from. I'm going to say goals from Perry and G,
Oh, okay.
and a winner from Ollie Tanner off the bench. It's written in the stars.
Well, mate, I'm looking forward to seeing that bet slip come Saturday.
No,
For
I
sure.
can't. I can't back it because if I back that, like I said, my scut will mean that you
Actually, yeah,
lose.
that's
So,
true. That's true.
for
Yeah.
you,
Actually, if you bet on Swansea to win, that would be helpful.
that's what I mean. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
I think I probably will do that just to make sure that they don't fucking win. So
Oh,
let's stick
God, yeah. Then.
throw a wee fiver away.
And just see you with a pint in hand saying, yep, Swansea won me that pint. Nah, we'll have to wait and see. Like, I mean, yeah, it's on my mind non-stop. Like, at work, coming home,
Yeah,
This,
He's,
and then watching past like highlights of the games as well, like Michael Chopra in the last minute, Ollie Tanner, of course, from last season, Craig Bellamy at their place. Like they obviously we've had some fantastic memories, and that's all these games create for myself as a City fan, is just to have something to look back on and think like, fucking hell, yes.
they're the best and the worst thing.
They are, yeah.
Absolute awful if it goes wrong, but the best thing, obviously, if they go right. So look, wish you all the best
Cheers, pal.
for this week. Tomorrow is obviously an important game, but doesn't hold the significance of the weekend. So hopefully positive tomorrow, and that leads into good form for the weekend and a Ollie Tanner masterclass.
Cheers, pal. Cheers, pal. Like I said, I'm doing my best to keep upbeat, and of course, like I said, regardless of the result, I'll be here on Monday, whether it's party time with a Welsh flag wrapped around my neck or me sinking into some whiskey, I don't know, and drying tears, who knows. But yeah, mayhem. Pleasure as always. Thank you for joining me this evening. Made a good time to continue the roll for the boys in green, as I highly expect them to do. And yeah, let's wait and see what's going to happen next Monday. Who knows? Ladies and gents, thank you very much for tuning in. If you are new to the Football Podcast, we are available on all audio platforms, including Spotify, Apple, Audible. We're everywhere. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and ring that bell for notifications. And until next time, ladies and gents, I bid you all good night and a star.